All right, let's get started. I mean, we got to kick it off. We're 3 minutes in. Let's see how many people we have on this. We have 32 people on it right now, which is good for December. That means 32 people are open-minded and want to work and make money and get prepared for the new year and close it out strong.
Right.
I like to say, you got to close it out strong. Are you a strong closer? Close it out and stay positive, you know? And are you having the right conversations? That's the key right now. Are you having the right conversations? But today we're going to talk about how to sell your listings in this type of market, especially this time of year, you guys. And as I explained to all my sellers, because a lot of them are starting, the wind's starting to kind of come out of their sales and they're getting ready for the holidays, and they're saying, hey, is it really worth it to have my house on the market? Don't you think I can just take it off and enjoy it for a while? And something, the answer on that is yes. However, I always say yes. However, there are a lot of buyers out there because people right now are in the psychology of buying. They're buying gifts. They're buying presents. They're buying alcohol. They're buying gym memberships. They're buying everything they can. They buy by the end of the year, right? A lot of people are looking for write-offs. A lot of people have to satisfy tax debt. And the buyers who are out there right now, if you're looking between Thanksgiving, which was late this year, and Christmas, you're in the buyer mindset. You're a pure buyer. That's what I call it, a pure buyer. And if they see value in something, they buy it. That's how that works, you guys. But you have to heighten that interest and that value. They're not just gonna come and roll over and say, here's my checkbook, let's do this. Everybody's nervous, everybody's cautious, everybody's looking for a good opportunity. So you have to really ramp it up. But it is a great time of year because the people are out there that are looking right now are no-nonsense people. They're not just tire kickers or, hey, I'm going to check it out, or I have nothing to do on the weekend. This is what I'm going to do. Because people have a lot of activities, parties, events going on. And, that's my, 120-second take on it. But let's go around to our star-studded panel. I just saw that Ross the Boss Stout came in here. And when the boss is in, we're going to win. That's it. But Mitchie was on first. He was playing his guitar. He's up there. He's getting his voice back. He's almost out of puberty. He's all grown up. He's like a mature adult now. Well, almost.
Almost.
Mitch, so I know you don't take a ton of listings, but you have a ton of experience. This time of year, what is your take on how to get your listing sold?
Okay, cool. So, so actually just from a update on my voice, which today's actually really good. Last Sunday and Monday, I could not talk at all. So it's very weird. I have an appointment on tomorrow to find out when my surgery is finally after all this time. So I'm excited to go there tomorrow and figure this out. And then I can't talk for 7 days, which is going to be really fun. Anyways, so a couple of things. And one you kind of touched on, one, Pete, is buyers that are out there right now are buying. They're serious. So people that are out here actually shopping for homes in this month are buying. Lots of people still buy. A lot of people have this belief that nobody buys in December. Lots of people buy. My best closing month personally was always January. Always. I started, real estate in September 2001, actually the day before 9/11, September 10th. That January I had 9 closings. And the reason being is because in November, December, I kicked it up a notch. I saw everybody else kind of taking a step back. And so why do people do that? They take a step back for 2 reasons. One is they hit their goals and they go, oh, I'm going to enjoy my holidays now. And the other ones didn't hit their goals. Say, well, I'll start over in January. So this is your time to shine and get, whether it be buyers or sellers. But today we're talking about sellers. So I'm going to give you 2 points that have helped me sell listings over the years, things I've trained my agents on for years. I actually just had this happen last week. One of my agents called me and said, my listings aren't moving. What can I do? So I'm going to share with you today in a minute or less will be exactly what I taught them to do. And he has 2 listings that haven't moved in 3 months. One's under contract because of this, what I just told him to do. So number one is pricing, not value, but pricing. A lot of people don't understand how to price a home. They do it based on the value. And if you open up your MLS right now and say there's a $500,000 home, I'm going to guarantee you if there's 25 homes that are $500,000, they're almost all priced at $499,900, right? And by the way, some people disagree with me, and I'm okay with that. I know I'm right because I'm always right, but the people that disagree with me, I'm okay with not agree with me. But here's the deal, and how I used to win my listings is with what I'm going to tell you right now. One of the differences between a marketing person and just a regular realtor is understanding pricing. So how do people search for $500,000 home? They search between $400,000 and $500,000 and $500,000 and $600,000, right? So if you're pricing it at $499,900, for $100 you gave up 50% of the marketing. Now I understand the psychology. Well, if we keep it in the fours, it's less. 500, and so let me explain something. At $499,900, you are now the highest priced home in that space of 400 to 500. So I'll ask you to think about this as you're thinking to yourself. If you're going to buy a home, do you want to be the top of your price range or the bottom of your price range? I've asked that question 1,000 times, and not one person has ever said, I want to spend the most amount of money I can. Everybody says the bottom. So in this case, at $499,900, you're at the top of that price point. You're the last house they're going to look at. However, on the 5 to 600, if you list at 500, you're now the lowest price in that 5 to 600. You're the first house they're going to look at in that group. So that's number one. It's really important. This is not like buying a $9.95 product, right? This is not retail. This is different. Right? You have to think like a marketing person, and people search by, again, 4 to 500, 5 to 600. So that's number one. The other thing is if your home's not working, and I'm going to save one for Dennis. I won't say this because Dennis taught me one of these things. I'm not going to speak about because he'll probably talk about it. And by the way, Dennis, just real quick, you taught my friend in Arizona about a high-end listing about the pictures, which I'm not going to mention. House sold in 2 weeks after he did that. Yeah. So it was great. He had 3 weeks to sell it. He sold it in 2 weeks because of what you taught him. That was great. So thank you for that.
I even forgot what that was, but
yeah,
okay.
It was awesome. I know you made it all up, and it's really cool. So here's what the other thing we did. So one of my agents again called me the other day and said I'm struggling selling my houses. Now again, this is another thing that a lot of people don't agree with me on, and I don't care. That's okay, and you don't have to do this. But when we were struggling during the crash last time, we would lower our listings $100 every Thursday. And because sellers don't want to give you this huge thing, but every time you lower your price, it goes out to the internet all over again. So we would lower our price $100, doesn't affect anything, every Thursday at 5 o'clock. So Friday morning, those feeds, now you're the top listing coming out again. Because what happens when you do your marketing and you go out there, your initial push, after a couple of weeks, you're buried in the rest of all those listings now that they get on their feed on Friday mornings. And people generally decide on Friday what they want to do over the weekend. So lower your price every Thursday at 5 o'clock or later, $100, and it'll show up the feed in the morning as one of the first few listings that came up. I've done that forever, like for 15 years, 18 years now. We've done that, and we had amazing results. We've sold so many homes within weeks after doing that. So those are my two things: price it correctly, not based on value, but based on marketable price, and then lower the price every $100 every week, and you'll start seeing a lot more activity. So that's what I got for you on get your listing sold.
Love that. I mean, that's super important. And I think in this market, everybody's trying to find the magic bullet or figure out the magic solution. Dennis, I don't know if you remember what you shared with those people about the pictures in Arizona, but what tips do you have to get listings sold, say, in the next 30 days in this type of holiday market? That's what I call it, you guys, the holiday markets, right? There's holiday markets. This is a holiday sales season. Go ahead.
So I'm not sure, Pete, if around the country they do value range like we do here in San Diego, but that's a huge one, you guys. So value range, if nobody's familiar with that, is basically, let's say you have a $500,000 house. It's been sitting there for a while, and you think it might be worth $480,000, $490,000. Go to your seller and do a value range, and what that means is you price it at, if it's worth $480,000, I would do a $450,000 to $509,000, something like that, like $449,000 to $509,000. And what you tell your sellers basically is, hey, This is a value range. We don't have to take any offer in between, but we're going to try to shoot for the top price and let's see what comes in. So what automatically happens is the buyers come in, they look at the house for 449 thinking they can get it, but at least now you're getting somebody to ring the bell, right? And now you can negotiate on their behalf and get them to get the price up. So that's number one, just to get some immediate action, is a value range pricing. I don't know if you guys have that in Florida. Do you, Mitch? You don't. Okay. It's kind of
We
a San
do.
Diego thing, maybe.
Dennis, we have something new that a few agents are doing where they're doing this bidding, which is the same kind of thing as they're just trying to get action on it, but
Right.
we can talk about that in some other episode, but it's a little bit
Okay.
frustrating how they're doing it because they're not as good as they are in California and they haven't perfected it yet.
Yeah, so value range works really, guys, I've sold, Gary Massa, Pete, we've all used it before here in San Diego. It's a phenomenal way of doing it.
Hey, Dennis,
Um,
let me just add on that real quick with value ranges. So one of the things, because I use that too. One of the things that I realized though, and I believe it still happens, is when you do a value range, the Zillows and all the syndication pulls the high number,
They do.
right? So that technically works against us, right? So what I've tested is I would put it at the low number as the list price, but I would talk about the range in the first public and agent remarks that seller accepting offers between this and this. So I would put the range in the description, but use the low number as the list price to get more attention. And then if
Got it.
agent would then call, I would make sure they would be aware, oh yeah, my client's looking for offers in this range, right? So it's the same idea. It's just done a little bit differently so we could get that attention, because that hurt us with the high number being listed on the syndication.
Gotcha. All right. That's a good point, Randy. We'd have to look into that, the legality, right? Make sure that you're not stuck to the price if it's on the MLS, because then it could hold you to a commission. But that's a whole nother story. Let me keep rolling here. So number 2, guys, is staging. I mean, staging's key. I say every single home that I have that's somewhat, even if I go on a listing and it's furnished, but some of the furniture is bulky, things like that, I bring my stager in and she will suggest removing some items, adding some items. Usually it's decluttering and removing stuff. Okay. So make sure the house stages really well. First impression is super key. Your first impression, guys, isn't when somebody walks in the door. It's the photographs that you take. You have to really make sure you have spot on photography. If it's a higher end listing or even not, do twilight. Twilight always works well. That's key. I think what Mitch was talking about when I helped out his friend in Arizona was rearranging the photos, right? That's a simple trick. If your house has been sitting there for a while, just rearrange the photos. Take like the main photo that you've been using for a month or two, switch it out, put another good photo as the main photo, and it just kind of percolates things a little bit. Make sure the place is clean, obviously, right? You want to make sure it's really, really spick and span clean, windows are washed, all that kind of stuff. There's nothing worse than going into a listing and having a kind of dingy feeling, right? That's like a deal killer. Landscaping, curb appeal, that's a little bit of money. Paint. And then remarks, guys. I use ChatGPT for my remarks. I can never write as good as ChatGPT does. So I'm sure all you guys have used it before, you could put in, little bullet points of the house, and then it'll bust out, whatever character you say, 1,000 characters, whatever your MLS allows, it will give you that. And then you can go in there and then you could tweak it, as be. But my number one thing, guys, for this market would try to do like a value range marketing. That's what I would suggest. And then maybe moving to photographs around.
I think those are great tips. I'll just add on that listen, when you're managing a listing, you have to be proactive. You have to look at all the pictures. You have to pick out the best ones. You have to understand the order on how a consumer looks at it, and, highlight the features. So underneath the pictures, you can highlight the features per room. So if in the primary bedroom, there's a his and her bathroom, that should be in those pictures, because the consumers don't know what they're looking at. That's a big thing. The other thing that I would do is once a week, update the order of the pictures or the write-up. And every 30 days, you want to reset it. I see so many listings sitting on the market for 90, 100, 120 days. You're doing your seller a huge disservice, because it looks as if you are asleep at the wheel and that nobody wants their house. And they all say the same thing, but will people recognize that my house was on the market before? Expired for 24 hours, they're going to get a million phone calls saying, I have a buyer. And just say, I've already relisted with Pete. If you have a buyer, that's great news. Call Pete. He'll get you in here automatically. Not a problem. And then put it fresh the next day. It resets it on the MLS because there's new buyers coming into the marketplace all the time, you guys. So I know the sellers are going to say, but people will remember it. Half the agents can't even remember what day it is. How are they going to remember the listing? They don't even remember what year we're in or that Christmas is coming up. So you think they're going to remember your specific listing? You're giving too much credit where credit is not due. So with that being said, I want to go to our rose amongst the thorns. Le Catherine Black, my favorite French woman out there, c'est magnifique. And Catherine she's had a great year, you guys. She sold over 30 million here in Southern California. And she's going to have a bigger year next year. She's going to sell over 50 million. So she has a lot of great tips because she just sold a house that was not an easy sale. And it had a lot of kind of functional obsolescence, but she did a great job getting the house prepped and ready and shooting great videos. And she's got that magnificent French voice, which I wish I had, because everything in life would be c'est la vie. You buy this house, you will be happy, right? So, Catherine, what tips do you have to sell your listings during the holiday season at this time of year before the year end?
Okay, so if it's a brand new listing, my strong advice is to go very low. So don't be shy, price it much lower than the comps are saying. So for example, my last one was in Spring Valley, and they had an appraisal done 3 months prior for $1,065,000. I priced it at 900 and I had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday open house, 180 people coming by. I had 12 offers. I right away, when agent calls me, or even when buyers come through the open house and they don't have agents, maybe we'll mention, I just want to let you know, the seller priced it very competitively. We wanted a lot of people to see how beautiful this view is. It doesn't translate so much with the pictures. And but my seller has a recent appraisal for $1,065,000. So I set the stage and the expectation with the buyers, with the agents, and they translate that to their buyers. And then I had, out of the 12 offers, 4 of them that came to $1,065,000. And these 4, I made them fight for it. And then I ended up with $1,126,000. So it was way above the recent appraisal. But if I did not start really low, and I did that in Cardiff as well with another condo, for 5 months, the exact same model was sitting there at $815K, and I priced it at $750, had multiple offer in escrow in 4 days, and sold it at $850. So it works. If it's a brand new, don't be shy with this market, go low.
Listen, and that's coming from the French woman who is dominating the lower market right now and getting prices magnifique and up. Listen, so guys, if you're out there, you can say, hey, I want to share a story with you. My friend Catherine just did this with one of her listings, and this was the result that they had. And that gets your seller in the right mindset. It's not coming from you. It's coming from a third party who put it into action and got this result. Feel, felt, found. I know how you feel. Catherine's seller felt the same way. This is what they found out. And if you do that, you bring them down. Sales is bringing people to a conclusion on their own, you guys. Would it be helpful if I showed you how this process works? Would it be helpful if I mapped it out for you and showed you how we were going to take advantage of the buyer's market right now before the end of the year? That's the terminology you want to have. Would it be helpful to you? Because they're all looking for solutions. They're all nervous. They don't want their house sitting on the market for 4 months. Like Matt always says, and Matt's not bragging. He's applying for a job, right? Matt Battiata. He says it's not a marathon. This is a sprint. The longer it takes for your house to sell, the more it's going to cost you and the less money you're going to have in your pocket. What do you want to do? That's it. Okay. Let's go to my
Hey,
brother
Pete,
from. Whoa, Mitchie's jumping in. Hold on.
I get a question for you, Catherine, because I love that. Hi, Catherine. Nice to see you again. You're always so smiley. I love smiley people. So I have a question for you because I've thought about doing this and it terrifies me, to be honest with you. And the reason why it scares me is because I'm afraid to put it low and then get only one offer that's lower than the price I'm asking. So how do you deal with that? Have you dealt with that before?
Yes. So obviously my clients look at me like I'm crazy, and I tell them, hey, at the end of the day, you have no obligation to sell, to accept any offers. You are in control. So why not give this, a try? And then if it doesn't work out, you know what? We reassess. But another advice I have, which I feel makes such a difference, is I always have a pre-home inspection done. I have termites report done, maybe not termites clearance. And that is huge because I offer that obviously to all the buyers, sometime before they send the offer or sometime right after they send the offer, and then they can look at it and decide what they want to, go up and fight and compete with other offers. But it's so perfect because the buyers, they are willing to, offer a higher price because they realize they already have a very good idea of what this house is all about. And of course, I always say you should have your own, but, my clients really wanted to be transparent. And here it is. And that also really helped at getting the price up because there is that confidence that they have at least a good idea, of what's up with that house. So that would be my other strong advice. And staging every time. I make my clients move out. They didn't plan on moving out. They move out 90% of the time. They are willing to do it. It's amazing what they will do if they trust you are confident in how to get the top price for their home. They really follow your advice. So 95% of the time, my clients move out and let me stage it. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Love that. And she gets it fully prepped, you guys, right? So there's no holes. Everything is done. All disclosures are done. Preliminary title report is done. So when somebody makes an offer, bang, here's the whole thing. It sends a message to the buyer that, hey, we're not waiting on an inspection. We're proactive. We know what we're selling. We know what we're dealing with. That's it. And that reverberates with the buyer's psychology that I can't just tie it up and fool around with it and change the price. So I love that. That's what I do all the time. All right, let's go to my brother from another mother, the ROG, the real estate opportunity guy in Philly. Look at, he's staying warm. He's eating cheesesteaks. He's running around. Sing, Papa, sing. Tell me, Lurchie, what are you doing to sell your all your listings right now at this time of year, especially in a place like Philly, where the weather is changing? Philly's kind of one of these places where one day you wake up, it's sunny and 20. The next day you wake up, it's snowing all day and it's cold, and you have to check on all your pipes in your house. So all the East Coast people know what I mean by that, except Cam, because he's down in Florida. Go ahead. What are you doing to sell it?
We've been getting a lot of rain. Now we got cold. Now we got a lot of my properties, especially new construction, we got mud. So you got to figure out how to get through that. But you got 19 days. We have 19 days till 2025. And I love this time, just like Mitch said, because when everybody else has got their head in the sand, like an ostrich, I pop up and I'm like, let's go. I'm running like the road runner in, Wile E. Coyote, That's how you got to run. And that's the energy you got to take to your sellers. And you can say to them, look, we can sit here like everybody else and just go to bed and forget about it and wake up in a new year, or we can get at it. And we've got at it in a couple of ways. We've done huge price slashes. If it was like at $895, and we haven't got anything, I'm like, all right, we're going to $850. You want to make an announcement? Let's do a $50,000 price slash. And guess what? We've done it. We then got offers over the $850, and this was in the past week. It's happened to us. We slashed 50. We ended up really only losing 30. They would have taken the offer if they had it at that offer already in the 860s, but we weren't getting it at 895. So we slashed it, and it drove the competition up and got people out to see it, just like Mitch and what Catherine was saying there. So that's number one. And get it everywhere. Post it everywhere. If you're not texting agents, if you don't have a text system that texts out price slashes and things like that, the agents text and stuff, and with the option to opt out, you're missing something, because agents are watching their phone more than they're watching a computer. All right. So that's one thing, is we're doing huge slashes and we're getting it out to everybody. Two is we went to one of our mortgage companies. We're working with Movement Mortgage. They are volunteering to kick in to do a 2-1 buy down. So the first year, the interest rate is going to be 1% less than now. Zero cost to the seller. If the seller wants to get involved, they can do a 3-2-1 buy down, which means that they're going to do even, so to be at 5%, 6%, 7% in year 3. But it adds indifference to qualifying of the buyer. It's affecting the owner by maybe $10,000, but it's affecting the qualifying for a buyer that's different. They qualify at the rate of the 5. They don't qualify at the 7. Most people's income are going to go up. So the buyers are mostly concerned, how much money am I going to need, and what is my monthly payment? So those are the things that we're doing, and we're promoting it. Yes, it's saying it needs to go through Movement Mortgage. Yes, all that stuff. But now here's the key. When we're partnering with them, they have a database, and their database is now 1,000 of the top agents in every county around us. So what they're doing then is they're sending a blast out with a flyer with me on it, my house, with them on it, to all the agents other than mine. So now I'm blasting it, they're blasting it, it's out on their social media, it's on my social media. So again, we're doing a double effect by partnering with one of our mortgage companies that's helping us. That also just help us, and we put a deadline, offer good till December 31st. Guess what? We just put one of our new construction under contract that had been sitting. 3 people, 3 agents saw that in an email through that mortgage person. They called me. We set the appointments, went out, and we're getting 2 deposits. 2 buyers are now fighting for the same house. So who's going to make the deposit first? So again, it's just doing something different when everybody else is there. Partner with your mortgage company, partner with your title company, and then slash some prices and do something different. That's what we're doing presently. And by the way, the first house I ever sold was next week in the middle of December at 14.9% interest rate 37 years ago. So if you want to start out cold, Philly, brand new, 14.5% interest rate at Christmas. You'll sell houses. This is easy. The weather's not bad and interest rates are half of that. So go get at it.
I love that. And what Lurchie isn't sharing with you guys, he when he has 2 people who want a house, he makes them do like a house Olympics. They have to run through the mud, jump over the bushes, all types of things to get them the deposit check, right? That's how he does it. That's the big thing. All right, let's go over to the person that should have owned a company that sells tortilla chips but missed it by around a year. Gary Massa. And Massa, what are you doing right now to sell a bunch of your listings in this type of market? And how are you doing it? Like what techniques can you share with everybody out there right now? What are you doing to not only keep your sellers positive, but get buyers motivated to see your houses and make offers?
Right. So the common thing that we're hearing so far, and again, a lot of great suggestions by everybody, but we're all hearing pricing, right? I think pricing right now is like the number one thing, and I'm not going to dive too much into that. But let's talk about the listings that haven't had the luxury of being able to start at a really low price, or maybe you thought you started at a great price, but they're still sitting, right? So let's go more into, the communication aspect, right? About getting price reductions, like Craig said. because no seller likes to just not have any information and then just get approached with, hey, we just need to drop the price, because then you just look like you're looking for one, just a fail safe of taking away more money out of their pocket. But like the price reduction is a series or collection of conversations and data points being shared over the period of time, right? Because if it's on the market 3-4 weeks, there's information that should be shared. But here's what we're doing right now to increase that communication all the way around. So first off, communication with the other agents. Every time I get a showing request, I actually reach out, I call that agent on the phone, text them like crazy. I know last couple of years we haven't really had the chance to call any other agents, and it just kind of came. But getting back to the basics of that communication, what that does by, hey, thank you very much for showing the property. I just wanted to reach out, introduce myself, let you know I'm here to help. Do you have any questions? Find out a little bit about their buyer and see how you can front load the information about, specifics of the house, what upgrades that it has, what benefits that it has, ask if they have any other question. That helps build a relationship with the agent, because I guarantee very few agents are actually reaching out to talk to that, to that buyer's agent. Most agents won't even pick up their phone and have a hard time even, getting a response from an offer when it comes in. So you're building the relationship, and that agent knows that you'll be easier and, maybe fun to work with or whatever the case. So they're building, a little bit of value in their mind on that aspect. Then they have the information about the home to help sell it to their client, right? That's the whole point about why sellers are offering concessions to, to the buyer's agent for that commission, because again, we do rely on those other agents to help sell our home as opposed to the neighboring home down the street. So, reach out, understand their story, and try to help sell the benefits that the buyer will be in tune to. Again, secondly, or after that, follow up on all the showings. Try to get the feedback, right? What do they feel about the pricing? What do they feel about the condition of the home, etc.? And then relay every one of these pieces of feedback back to the seller. So over a couple week period of time, if you keep hearing its price, its condition, et cetera, et cetera. I've learned there's only 3 reasons why a home doesn't sell. We probably all heard this many times before, but it's really pricing, condition, or like location or something that you can't change, right? And so being able to help get the consistent feedback from all of these showings, you can start showing the seller, hey, price. All these comments are going into price. Maybe we should adjust that, or something about the condition that you can change, right? Like maybe it's staging, maybe it's painting, etc. You can help address those concerns that you're coming up with. One of the properties I have right now does not have a fence or privacy, on one side of the house from the master bedroom. It's come up every single time. Now we're building a fence, so it's like those type of things that, so when the next buyer comes through, you're addressing that concern, and ideally you don't have that issue. What else am I going to say? Oh, okay. So like the last piece that I'll finish with that is that, we can't magically make markets, right? We're not Harry Houdini or whatever the case. The market is the market. And it's really up to us to interpret that market, what the buyers, are looking for, or what the general market's looking for, whether it's pricing, condition, or for that type of product, and then help shape the product to be able to appeal to more people and to the buyers that are coming in. So I'll take it with that communication piece as selling listings, because I feel it's easy to really get away from that communication and help your seller understand, so you can make those changes in a shorter period of time, not waiting, 2, 3, 4 months to then just drop the price.
What a concept. Communicate. Wow. And I love that. I'm not making fun of Gary. I'm just saying in general, a lot of the people in our industry lack communication skills, and they don't know how to communicate. And guys, you have to be good at delivering messages. So just pre-frame to the sellers ahead of time that whether you get a high offer or a low offer, it's the start of a conversation. That's all it is. It's the start of a conversation to see if we can bring everybody together at a price that's acceptable. Because when you have a seller that wants to sell and you have a buyer that wants to buy, that's the best ingredients you can have in this marketplace. You can't find better ingredients to make a house, right? That's the key. But communication is the key, and be proactive with your communication, be professional, but most of all, be straightforward and honest. You don't have to say, hey, they hated your house, they didn't like this. Of course, sometimes you have to change the verbiage on that. But I think it's important for sellers to get straightforward answers and really understand where people are at. The problem is most people in our community or in our profession are not professional, and they don't know how to call back or communicate. All right. So stay on them and get really, really a deep understanding of what they liked, what they didn't like, what didn't work for them. Every house is not going to work for every person. But the beauty of it is you just have to find one person that it works for. That's the key. And, sellers hearing that, you guys, sellers can get worn down where they say, oh, we're never going to sell our house. And then they start that whole energy field inside their house. Oh, nobody likes it. We just got an appraisal for 3.8. Yeah, well, you got an appraisal because you're going to refinance your house and they're pumping it up. That's not a real market appraisal. So you have to use the tools. The tools I use in California is Flash CMA. I know Catherine just started using it, and it takes practice, you guys, to really understand it and how to explain it. But it's very powerful when you get it because it's an appraisal-like evaluation. Do you have to put in some work? Yes. It's not just automatic, hey, I'm going to push a button and this computer is going to tell me everything. It does the baseline. You have to put in a little work. But the beauty of it is you can text it. You can email it to people. That's how I've sold houses off open houses. People come in all the time and say, it's this time of year, not a lot of people are looking. I don't think it's worth it. I can appreciate your opinion. Everybody's got an opinion. But I did an appraisal-like evaluation on it. Can I text it to you right now? It's 12 pages long. It's in depth. It shows you all the comps. It shows you what's happening in the marketplace. And you decide if it's worth it or not. They love that. And if you do that, you guys, you'll stand out from everybody else. That's the key. And I think that's really important to have those tools. If you're not using it, you're not using it. I get it. But you should be using it because all the other tools out there, I call them the dumb and stupid tools. DST, dumb and stupid tools. What are they? Price per square foot. Oh, this is what they came up with. Are you kidding me? Come on. You turn on your brain. Everything is not price per square foot. There's 3 words in real estate: location, location, location. No 2 houses are exactly the same. It's impossible. Even in subdivisions, even in new construction. So you have to know and be a professional on how to really show value and price. That's super, super important. All right, let's go from that. Sorry, I'm 3/4 of a green tea in. I'm starting to ramp. I'm getting fired up. All right. We're going to go to the Benjamin Button of the group, Cam Smith. He's down there in Florida. He's got his sunscreen on. He's going back in age. He's going to be an elf tonight, right? He can't be Santa. He's going to be the elf. And Cam, what are you doing down in Florida? Because listen, Florida has different types of markets than everybody else because now all the snowbirds are coming down. So do you see an uptick on your listings this time of year?
Always.
And guess what? The snowbirds have 2 things to do every day. They have to go to Publix to get the food they're going to eat that night, and they'll drive by open houses because they want to talk to someone. And you never know, they might buy something because they have a ton of dough and they're trying to get out of the snow. So
that's it.
Yeah, what are you doing right now to really heighten the interest in your listings to get them sold by the end of the year?
So the question is, how are we selling our listings right? And then what are we doing that's really making them stand out? So first off, good morning, everyone. That's the first thing. It's great to see everyone. I missed last week. I love seeing you guys every week. I'm going to run through this really quick because I got a bunch of stuff here, and I know we got a couple more great just superstars here that are going to give us some more info. So I'm going to run through this stuff really quick, and I'm going to open it up a little bit differently than everyone else because I know everyone has been preaching pricing, right? That is the key. That really is the key. There's no secret in that. A lot of people say there's 3 tricks to selling a home: pricing, conditional. No, it's just price. If you price it right, it'll sell, I promise, right? So that is no secret. The trick, though, as agents is how are we able to keep our business off of that roller coaster that is completely determined by the market? We can't control the market. Well, we can control one thing, and that's how many listings we currently have. So you need to be doing proactive prospecting every single day to be adding to your inventory list for those homes that the sellers can't sell, or they just don't have the motivation to reduce the price enough. That's okay. They can stay on the market. And if someone comes along, great. But we as agents are out getting the properties and finding the motivated sellers that will do what's needed to sell their home. So the number one thing is always be or consistently be adding new listings, consistently be prospecting for listings, and that is going to keep you off of that roller coaster. And you're going to not worry that, oh, the market's so tough and all this, because when you have a whole bunch of listings, you're going to have a whole bunch of buyers. You're going to have a whole bunch of stuff you can do. You can do mailers, you can do open houses, you can do anything you want when you got the options and you have those listings to do that. So for everyone that's trying to figure out what should we do right now, it's go get more listings. It's put in more work, put in the hours, do what you need to be doing that you need to be doing, because we're all great agents. We're all here learning. You know what you need to be doing, but are you doing that every single day? Everyone here on this panel is. That's why we're up here on this panel, but that's up to you. So let's jump into pricing. You got to price the home properly. And what is properly? That means that it is the best priced home on the market, right? 3-bedroom, 2-bath within about a mile. If it's got a pool, you got to be the best price home on the market. We are in a downward trending market here in Southwest Florida. We've been in a downward trending market for about 18 months now. So it's kind of fun to see you guys now starting to feel that same pinch that we've been going through. But what I have found, and a lot of you guys know this, I started my career in 2008 when it was fun. It's the exact same thing, you guys. When you're in a downward trending market, you need to be pricing ahead of the bell curve. If the bell curve is going down, you got to get ahead of it, right? You have to get ahead of it, or you're going to get no action. You're not going to have any showings. You're not going to be having any feedback, nothing. So you have to be pricing it properly. Your CMAs, what we do, obviously, and I know I'm getting long-winded here, so I'm going to be quick. Our CMAs have a value range, kind of like the value pricing that a few people were talking about earlier. And that allows the sellers to know exactly where we think it's going to sell. The value ranges can be 90% of what the CMA price, and it can go up to 105%. But it gives them that option. Of course, a lot of sellers obviously always want the top. But when you go through the CMA with them and you break it down and you say, look, your home is not worth the homes that we're comparing it against. Now, how do we know that, you guys? Really easy. Here in Florida, we use assessed value. So you're able to go onto your tax assessors, and any property that you want to look at, you can see what the tax assessors are valuing it at. Real simple math. Divide the assessed value from the ask price, you get a percentage. Guess what, you guys? You can do that with any home here in Florida at least, you can do it with any home, and it's an easy way to identify, well, that home's just simply nicer. That's why it's assessed for more. It's either in a nicer location. They're not wrong. They know. So that is the best way I've been able to present CMAs and get that range that we're talking about. Now, if you don't know, or you're new, or you're not an experienced agent, and you just feel like you don't know what that range is, you don't know what pricing's like, get out there, preview homes, see what the market's like, educate yourself, become the expert. And then you'll have a lot more confidence when you do present this type of CMA or these numbers that are always going to be lower than what the seller wants, because we're in a downtrending market. So it's always going to be a lower number. But when you have that expertise, you know what you're doing, you're able to confidently present that to your clients. And that is why they will trust you, because you're confident, because you know what you're talking about. For sellers that just want too much money and they won't sell, that's just the facts, you guys. In a downward trending market, if the seller needs more than what it's worth or more than the market's going to hold, it won't sell. That is going to be up to you to decide if you want to take that listing. What we do with those listings that are overpriced and we know they're overpriced, or they want to list on the high side of the CMA, we do a pre-signed price reduction, 14 days, or it's around usually 14 days. We're going to reduce it X amount because I'm willing to do the marketing and try, but if we don't get any action, I need that instantly done. The sellers, when you say that, you guys, it completely shifts their mind, because now you're on their side. You're willing to fight for them. But they really know too that it probably needs to be reduced. So you're actually getting into their mind that, okay, he's going to do what I want, but he's also doing what's right. And that is a great strategy to use with sellers that don't want to sign properly priced homes or property price listing. Again, to breaking down that, I know I'm getting long here real quick. If they are not willing to reduce their price or take the listing at a properly priced estimate, or they're not willing to list the home at the right price or properly price the property so that it'll sell, You have to figure out how much it's costing that seller. You have to break it down for them and explain to them and let them tell you that it's costing them $4,000, $5,000, $7,000 a month to hold this home. And if it sits on the market for another 4 months, we could have just reduced it 50 grand. And if you can do that, you can get people on your side and help them understand that we need to take the more aggressive route. Get a lead capture website. 80% of all buyers are starting online. Make sure you have professional photos. Make sure you get that lead capture website out to everyone on all the social medias. Every single thing about this home has to have that lead capture website in it. And then you need to follow up with the buyers that come in through that website. Call them, text them, get a hold of them. I saw you were just looking at this listing. It's the best priced home on the market. You have to see it. When can I show it to you? You have to follow up with them. Same with showings. Just like, what was that Gary was saying? You're following up with the buyer's agents again. Same thing. Get on the phone with them. Sell it to them. It's the best price home. Your client's an idiot if they don't buy this home. Blah, 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 blah. You know, you have to be selling the home now. Zenlist, off market, incredible program, you guys. If you're not putting your listings on Zenlist, you need to get on it. The email update newsletters, like Craig was saying, you have to be doing that. New listings, price reductions, all of that stuff coming soon have to be going out to the agents. Brokers network. This is huge for me, at least. When I get a big listing like our new $2.6 million lot on the beach, the first thing I do is I send it out to all of these guys. Why? Because they have a huge network of potential buyers or investors and things that they know about that they might just happen to know someone. You have to do the same thing. If you're networking, if you're going out, if you are doing your broker's weekly meeting, you need to be telling everyone about it because, you know, it happens all the time. Last is to get the listings, to have that more inventory, how to consistently add listings, provide more value, you guys. Okay? How about we pay the $300 to professionally clean someone's house? How about we pay for the pre-inspection? It's $200 if you talk with an inspection company, right? You can do all of that stuff. I know it can get up to $1,000 if you're doing all the crazy shit. But the reality, you guys, is if you work with an inspection company, you say, hey, we just want you to run out, do a pre-inspection for us. I'm paying it out of my pocket. You're going to get a whole bunch of them. You'll get an inspection company that'll do it for you. That is how you're able to go in. You're able to get those listings. You're able to get the price down to a place where you're going to get action. And then magic happens, right? It goes on the market. You get offers in 4 days. Bang, bang, bang. You look like a rock star. All you did was not overprice the home. You priced it properly in a downward trending market. So that's all I got, you guys. You know, this is my forte. This is what I love. This is what I grew up doing. So I absolutely love downward trending markets because it allows the good agents to stand out and sell a lot of homes. It allows the bad agents to sit on a whole bunch of inventory and complain about how bad the market is, and allows everyone else to go out of business, which makes it even easier for us. So you guys, this is the time. December is when you are able to take market share. A lot of people are vacationing. A lot of people take the time off. A lot of places it's too cold. It's 39 degrees down here in Southwest Florida this morning, absolutely freezing. Well, get out there and door knock. No one else will, right? That's the difference. Separate yourself and you'll be great. Hope someone got something from that because that was
love it, love it, love it. Cam wants to be a dentist. That's it. Just remember.
Mic drop.
We got around 10 minutes left, so let's go to Randy first. Then we'll go to Dave. Let's go to Brian first. Then we'll go to Dave. Then we'll go to Randy. Randy will take it home with Investor Agent Nation here before the holidays. Go ahead, Brian.
All right. Wow, all great tips. Catherine was doing some things that I preach all the time. What I would do is I would take everything I've learned from the past, I'd put it in the perfect listing, and I'd say, what would I do for myself if I were listing my own home, right? Because when you can give advice to a seller and say, well, if this were my home, as many homes as we've sold over the last many years, these are the top tips right now that I heard. So this would be the first one. Review the RPR report or Flash CMA if you're using it. RPR just gives you a base model value nationwide for any home. It is a benchmark base model that you can start with, and you can adjust it up or down based on condition and all of the other market trends, right? So an RPR number is basically a number that you start with, like a blue book for a car. That, and you and the seller sit and look at that in the tax records and all the information that you need to know ahead of time. So the seller and you confirm that there's not going to be any concerns from agents who click on the tax records and see that you're not selling a 4-bedroom, it's a 3-bedroom. Nothing matches up, you're going to have to overcome that. So overcome all the objections up front. Check with all the pending listings in the area with all of the listing agents and ask them this specific question. When your property closes, will it be at value, above value, or below value? Knowing that ahead of time helps you go to the seller and say, hey, you know the house that's down the street that's a little bit bigger than yours? Well, I know it's closing below value. When it closes below value, that's going to trend down in your area. If it's above value, I know that's going to move the needle the right way. We want to trend up. So, but you have to know where the trends are going. The only way you're going to find out is having conversations with the other listing agents in the area who are pending. Have your home inspection, have your termite, have your solar leases available if you have solar in your area, have the seller transfer disclosure statement, the SPQ, professional photos, everything ready to go out before you actually hit a coming soon day. Give you an example. If you wait to start doing all this during the coming soon, you're going to waste 14 days of pre-marketing. I have my sellers do everything before we coming soon. That way, when I hit the coming soon, it's very strategic. The first showing is going to be on a Thursday because that's the day we're going to go live. This is perfect scenario stuff, you guys. I have the broker caravan on that Thursday because that's when our caravans are here in my area. If it's a Tuesday, I might try to figure out a way to do this. But here's why. I want the first showing day to be announced in the coming soon to be on a Thursday, and only agents can show between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. on that day. That's the only hours of showing on that day because the first 14 days, I'm building a massive interest list with everything that I've got there. I want all this in the MLS. I want the value range marketing, all of the concepts, everything you guys were talking about, all determined before the 14-day coming soon. So that way, for those first 14 days, I'm building an interest list, and anybody who's interested is going to bump into everybody else that's interested on day one in a 2-hour window. They're all going to be showing it on that Thursday evening because Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is going to be a blitz weekend if the seller wants open houses. If they don't want to sign, they don't want a lockbox, that's okay. I don't need a sign, I don't need a lockbox, and I don't need an open house to sell a house. I just need one interested buyer bumping into another one so they start the bidding war. So that's what I would do for now.
Love that, Brian. That's great stuff. Let's go from Brian. I thought you guys were just going to go bang, bang, bang like 3 elves. Dave Luxury Lawson, look, he's fresh off the slopes. He's been skiing down the mountain, you guys, getting things signed. He skis backwards. People sign their listings. Dave, what are you doing right now in Park City to get your listings sold?
Well, a lot of the stuff that we've already heard, okay? But at the end of the day, we take more listings. And when we take the listings, we set the expectations with our clients. Cam does a 20 or 14 days. We talk about 21 days that we're going to massively work to market your home. After 21 days, we're going to get either a pre-signed or an agreement to do a price reduction. One of the things that we do is we tell people that price reductions are a part of our marketing plan. So lots of people think that they're bad, but I actually like them. And then we tell them, why is it so good? Well, what it does is it allows us to market your home to the masses right now. And then in 21 days, we do a price reduction. And then we're allowed to do another full marketing. We send it out to the agents, the people that have shown it. We send it off to Zillow and Trillia and Realtor.com and Homes.com that there's a price reduction. It brings your listing to the top. The other thing that I do is I have the 5 and 10% rule. If you have a listing that's $1 million and you're getting a lot of showings but no offers, it's 5% overpriced. If you're getting no showings, it's 10% overpriced. And if you tell the people up front, then they kind of understand it. I also have a rule. It's called one and done. Not totally, but it's pretty easy to get the first price reduction. All other price reductions are like pulling teeth with no Novocaine, right? So what we have to do is, if it's $1 million and they go, yeah, let's lower the price by 10 or 20,000, I just say, Cam, that's just not worth it. It's not going to do anything. If we don't at least go down to 40 or 50, And the other thing is if you give a range, they're only going to hear the low number. So if you want to get the price down to 960, you need to say, well, we need to go down from between 940 and 960. They only hear what? 960. And then you go, and they say 960, you go, yeah, that's actually what I was thinking. What else did I write? Communication is the key. So what we do really fast, I know we only have a few minutes, but when we list a property and we tell them up front on every week, you're going to get a report from us and you're going to get to see everything that we're going to do. We're going to do a custom landing page. We're going to send an email marketing out to all the agents. We're going to have printed materials that we're going to have. We're going to put your home on social media. We're going to syndicate and put your home on our Lawson team website, Zillow, Realtor.com, Trillia, and all of that. You tell them up front. We have a saying on our team, if you do something for the seller and they don't know about it and you don't tell them, it has zero value. And then at the end of the week, we send them a copy of it. It's super easy. You go to Zillow, you copy and paste their home, and you put it in a link and you send that off to them. When you communicate like that, and then the other thing is, if it's over $1 million, you have to use EXP luxury marketing. You have to. And then you can show them how many homes or how many times your property has been shown, in the last week on, all of the different sites. Pete, would it be okay if I listed your home on the Wall Street Journal, Mansion Global, Upmarket, New York Times, Barron's, Robb Report, Market Watch, and 74 other sites? And then they get a report and they see how many times people have looked. And I say, and what's best, Pete? These are the wealthiest people in the country. And then the last thing, I don't know if you can see this very well, but this is something you should all do. Go to Zillow Showcase. It's $1,100 almost, but you can buy 6 months of them for under $500 a piece. You can showcase your listing, and it's going to do all kinds of great things for you. They're going to give you better photography. They're going to do an interactive floor plan. They're going to do a visual tour. They're going to increase the visibility and placement for your property on Zillow. The best part is when you put your listing on Zillow right now, you know what they do? They sell the listing to people or the buyers to somebody, right? If you do Zillow Showcase, there's a button, they can reach you and it doesn't cost you any more money. And the other thing is I use it in getting the listings. I get it for more exposure. It gets me more offers. I tell the clients, according to Zillow, that I'm going to get you 2% more money for your listing. And I have 20% more likely that it's going to sell in the first 14 days. And I only charge 3%. If I get you 2% more money, that means you're really only paying me 1%. So go and look into that. If I had more time, I'd explain it a little bit more. It is phenomenally good. We're putting it on every single listing that we have right now.
That's awesome. That's great, Randy. We're out of time. Can we pick up with you next week? I apologize, buddy, and we'll do part 2 of how to get buyers and sellers moving during the holidays. All right, Dave, thanks for your tips. Catherine Black, merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci
Joyeux
beaucoup.
Noël.
All right, guys, everybody have a great weekend. Get out there, call. Just remember, when you prospect, contacts equal contracts. All right, get in contactual mode. Talk to you soon.